Hello and welcome to You Don't Know Jack. My name is Chris Brown.
And I'm Hubert Maitland.
And this is, I don't know what episode this is, but
Like
we are
60,
recording.
like 160 something. I don't know.
Yeah, give or take,
Give or
160
take.
something. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a long time. We're
Yeah.
grizzled vets in this game.
Yeah. Back in the game. Put
I
back in the
want my
game, coach.
I want my veteran minimum salary though. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm looking for a max deal. I'm looking for that super max.
That
Wait,
super max.
we're in the wrong sport.
Yeah, exactly. Got to go to the
We're
NBA or not MLS, but soccer in general. Those are
yeah,
where that's where you make the big bucks.
super max deals.
Go play soccer, kids. Anyways, this is we're recording this on Thursday, April 11th, 2024. And coming off a very special weekend, not in football, but in basketball, the March Madness officially ended. So congrats to the two teams that won. University of South Carolina for the women's side and the University of Connecticut, UConn, for the men's, going back to back. So congrats to them, but nobody cares about basketball when you got so much going on in the world of football, right?
Football is king.
Exactly. We've got spring football in full effect. We've also got the NFL draft coming up that we will get into later this episode, as well as the actual draft coming up later this month. We should definitely consider doing something for the draft night, man.
Yeah, we should. We should order some vegan pizza and get our what is it our analytical notes out, and then we could just go through and figure out
Mm-hmm.
which teams need what, and then analyze which teams have the best picks, and just laugh at the Cowboys because they're going to just be sucking this year. So there's that.
Exactly. Gonna get my draft board out, looking like that one meme, trying to connect all of the dots on my board, trying to figure
Yeah,
out who the best person for the Bengals is at the time. But now we'll figure something out. But that's going to be exciting. I'm excited because I think there may be a trade on the horizon for my Bengals, but we won't get into that yet. Let's start off with spring football that is in full effect. Week 2 of the UFL, the United Football League, just ended.
mm-hmm.
And we're seeing some pretty cool, I would say, some competitive games that are, I don't know, it just feels, to me, it fills a void that we've always missed when football is officially done in March and April, or yeah, after February, right? So yeah, March and April. And so I'm excited to watch these games. My San Antonio Brahmas, who I've been following a little bit, they're 2-0. I've been following them because they had YouTube sensation and former UCF college football kicker Donald De La Haye, also known as Destroying. He got his
They're like,
chance.
hey,
De La Haye, he got his chance to finally get on a semi-pro or pro, however you want to see this league, football team. And he was doing all right, with his kickoffs. Didn't have any field goal attempts, but it was really cool because at the beginning of the game, he got a tackle. He made a tackle, and I was
no,
like, "Oh,
he tried
okay."
to tackle. Let's put it that way. He tried.
Well, let's put it this way. He stopped the returner, and it was a pretty good pop, but it looks like he got the worst of it. You know, this is not a game for people that are not, up to par on their tackling skills and tackling form. So he ended up with a fractured neck. They said he potentially fractured his neck in multiple places. The way he got up after the tackle, I was like, "Ooh, something's not quite right." And sure enough, I think it was earlier this week where the reports were coming out that he's done for now. There's a small chance that he may come back before the end of the season if they make the playoffs. But this chapter of destroying, being in a spring league and potentially trying to work his way to the NFL, right now it's closed, man. It's closed.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, love his stuff. Destroying, love it. All the competitions he does at different various sites uh across the country. Very, very good for the youth. Um, but yeah, he needs to first of all, he get back in that gym. Because yeah, that was I don't know what that was. Secondly, form tackling is important, like you said. and dropping your head as you're trying to. I don't know. I can't remember if the returner was a little bit beefier, was a little bigger, but yeah, going that full speed and that collision, you need to have your head up, or stuff
Yeah.
will happen, and it definitely did. So, speedy recovery to destroying, hopefully, or De La Haye, like I say, De La Haye. Uh, Speedy recovery to you. Hopefully, that you recover quickly, can get back into the league and prove what you can do. Because that's a dream. I know it's been a dream since I've been seeing you driving those Teslas. So yeah, uh, much respect, and hopefully you get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to him. Big YouTube star. I would say one of the modern catalysts for why we have NIL deals in college now, because it doesn't make sense for players to not be able to make money off their name, image, and likeness. So, just shout out to Destroying, and hope he makes a speedy recovery, like you said.
Definitely.
All right, from moving to the spring league to the big leagues, let's man, we haven't talked baseball in forever, but we won't do
So,
that. We
oh,
won't do
so you
that.
got me there too. I was like, wait, what? Big leagues? We
To
talking
the
about?
big leagues, we're talking about the NFL. Somebody that's taken their talents to the NFL is probably somebody that nobody knows, but they will know him now, because I'm sure it's
I
going to be
sure
a
didn't
talking
know.
point.
I sure didn't know him.
Yeah, when I saw this come across the wire, I was like, okay. I mean, I know a lot of rugby stars, a lot of soccer players, people that play other sports, decide to make the transition into football, and they end up having successful careers. Even basketball players, like former great tight ends Jimmy Graham, and who was in San Diego? I forgot his
Um,
name. Tight end
Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates. There we go. My
Yeah,
guy, Antonio Gates. Former
Antonio
basketball
Gates.
stars that had great careers in the NFL. So you can cross over, you can go from one sport to another. It's a great thing. And the Kansas City Chiefs, who are in need of a lot of help after some off-season issues with a certain wide receiver. We will wait for
Yeah,
those
allegedly.
things,
Although
yeah,
it's not
everything to
alleged, there's
work
actually,
out.
yeah, alleged. There's actually evidence, but still.
Yeah, there's video evidence, so we'll see what happens with their rookie sensation wide receiver. But they need all types of weapons in Kansas City. And Andy Reid loves to dial up special plays. Patrick Mahomes is obviously the improvisation king. Hopefully, I said that
Yes.
right. Somebody will correct me. But yeah, they've decided to sign European rugby star Louise Rees Zammit. I hope I got that right. Hope I didn't butcher his name. He's a 23-year-old whose claim to fame is that he reached speeds of 24.2 miles per hour on the field last year during one of his carries. I forgot what team. I don't know if I have that on here, but anyways, European rugby has now entered the chat. They are making their way
Actually,
into the NFL.
actually,
Mm-hmm.
uh, rugby has already made its way into the chat. If you remember, one of my boys, um, what's his name? Our left tackle, Jordan Mailata, came from the rugby side of things.
But
He
wasn't
was
that
in.
Australian rugby?
Is there different? Are they different?
I don't know. The
I
article I'm
feel like
looking at makes it sound like there might be different rules.
I mean, rugby's rugby to me. Is you gotta tear somebody to the ground as best you could without pads. So I'm just saying, rugby to me is rugby. But yeah, I would just from the sport of rugby, we have emerged a couple of players, but I think one of the biggest ones is Jordan Mailata. He made his debut, and he's actually got a huge contract. He just got signed to a major contract actually this year. So
Very
uh
good. Well deserved.
so but this is not a Mailata segment, but I just wanted to interject that that rugby has been in there for at least 3 years.
Yes, I know Australian rugby has been around for a while. Even the kickers, the punters, have been like recruited heavily. I
Mm,
just didn't know if European rugby was different. You know how certain rules are different in certain continents.
I got you. I got you.
They may be European rugby stars, may be the softer rugby stars of the world.
I,
So we'll see.
if
We'll see.
if you play rugby, I ain't gonna call you soft. Because I definitely wouldn't hang. I couldn't hang in rugby. I played football before, but I heard rugby. You got to be a man to play that sport. So more power to them.
Man, I would love to play. I would love to see NFL players play rugby. I
Um,
think they probably would not be able to adjust because
yeah, I think
you
they
really
would.
got to, protect each other's heads out there. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just, the issue with the NFL is that you lead with the helmet so often.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get that out of there.
Mm-hmm.
In rugby, you do that, and both of you guys are dead. So
That's true. That is
yeah,
true.
very interesting. Very interesting. But I mean, it's cool to see the crossover. We'll see if he can use that speed. See if he can be, an awesome weapon for, like I said, Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just
Yeah,
always cool to find those storylines.
yeah. I mean, he'll. I feel like he'll do well. The transition will be difficult. It'll be a project for a little while, but once he figures out how to play the position, I mean, I'm not sure what position he's going into. But I
Scat
feel
back.
he's a halfback. Okay. I mean, yeah,
He'll be a Swiss Army knife. He'll
yeah. It'll
Andy
be
Reid will have him everywhere.
a Tyson Hill situation.
Mm-hmm.
Just play him everywhere. He might even throw a couple touchdowns. You never know. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I congratulations to him. Hopefully he makes it on the team because that's still not a guarantee. He makes it on the team, and hopefully everything goes well with him. More best of luck to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Best of luck. Um, I don't know. I just like the guys like Tyreek Hill that you can put in any spot and they can just kind of run around and either catch the ball. The Christian McCaffreys of the world, stuff like that. So
Well,
yeah, we'll see what happens.
his brother Luke is actually going to enter the league this year too. So
Oh, nice. At
yeah,
what position?
he's a wide receiver.
Oh, okay. Like his
So
daddy.
yeah,
Just less stunting like his daddy. Okay.
so I don't know. He's not going to be a high pick, but he's gonna be able to play sort of against his brother probably. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you love to see the legacies, see what they can do in the league. I didn't think TJ Watt would be as dominant as he is right now in the league. So, you just never know. Steph Curry in the NBA with what he's been able to do, man, the list goes on and on. Either the legacies end up
Legacy.
outshining their fathers, or a lot of times they don't necessarily do that great. But either way, it's cool to see. It's cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see how they do, but I am, you know, it's cool to see siblings and hopefully, well, I mean, you will talk about even step into the NBA again. Bronny is supposed to declare for the NBA draft, and father is there and might be able to play with him, might be able to play against him. We don't know, but
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool to see the generations actually be in there for at least a year or two. So be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. If Bronny James gets drafted and ends up playing with LeBron, that'll be the first time father and son have played on the same team since I think Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad,
Mm-hmm.
senior, way back in the day. I think 1998 or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
really cool to see. Got to keep it in the family, and this is what I love about this particular trade. We can talk about two brothers that are going to be in Texas together,
Texas
down there in the South, in the greatest state in the Union.
in the Union. Wait, that was Confederate state, right? Wasn't it? Was it
It
Texas?
flies its own flag, man. It flies its own
Or
flag. It's an independent state.
were, were we fighting Cowboys and Indians, or were we fighting uh uh indigenous, like the not the what do you call those
Native
guys, those,
Americans.
no, well, yeah, but uh those guys from Mexico, because Texas
Oh
was part of
yeah,
Mexico for a while.
yeah. The Spanish had it. Yeah,
Yeah, so I feel like feel like we were fighting all sorts of things in Texas.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It wasn't easy, but I think they were a part of the Confederacy eventually. But
Yeah.
more than anything, they just love being independent. They keep talking about how they can eventually
Succeed from the
succeed.
union.
Yeah, succeed from the Union. But
We still having those talks in 2024.
I doubt it. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Texas
I
is
mean,
so interesting.
they have enough guns. They can probably succeed from the union.
Yeah, and
Beat
they've
them
got enough
all.
industry too. They got their own electrical grid and their own tech business in Austin. They got a whole bunch of stuff that they can do. I mean, and now they've got one of the best wide receivers to ever play in the NFL. Mr. Stephon Diggs has made his
Okay,
way via trade from the Bills to the Houston Texans.
we went a little too far there. I feel like I don't know if he's one of the best. I feel like he's a good wide receiver.
Ooh.
I'd say he's probably top 8, 7, 7, 8. Yeah.
If you can make top 10, that's not good.
No, I that's not. I mean, that's good, but that's not. He's not the best.
I didn't
I
say
mean, I
best. I
could.
said one of the best.
I mean, I consider one of the best top 3. To be honest with you, I don't think he's top
Oh,
3.
well, okay. So, how do you grade wide receivers? That's a great topic. Let's get into that.
I grade wide receivers based on their all around play. Um,
So, touchdowns, no
touch,
touchdowns.
touchdowns are a part of it, but what do you do? How do you? So okay, so in Justin Jefferson's situation, he a lot of teams rotate defenses to him.
Mm-hmm.
So they will rotate 1, 2, 3 that play zone in his direction. They'll try to prevent him from getting the ball. They'll try to keep him in front of them, et cetera, et cetera. So I a great wide receiver can see all that, still get 150 yards a game, couple touchdowns,
Mm-hmm.
blocks very well, does everything that you ask him to do in a extremely high way. So I don't think Stephon Diggs does all that. He's a great receiver. He can catch. He's got
Mm-hmm.
speed. But I mean, there are games last year when I had him on fantasy where he got 20 yards, 30 yards.
Uh-huh.
Uh Gabe Davis was the main focal point of the offense. Uh, Isaiah, I guess I forget the other guy's name. Um, he would be the focal point. I mean, Steph will get his, but he didn't do everything else. He didn't do everything else great. And so for me, if you can just catch and run, I mean, there's a bunch of receivers that can do that. But you got to do a lot of other intangible stuff well. I mean, he's still a good route runner, but he doesn't do a lot of other stuff like blocking. I don't think I've ever seen him block well in his life. So to be honest with you. So I mean
Yeah.
I might not be looking at him like so intensely, but I've never seen whenever I've watched the Bills play, I haven't seen him block very well. So I feel like an all around receiver that does all that is in my top 5, top 3.
Gotcha. Okay. So you like the well balanced receivers, the ones that aren't just catching the deep ball, racking up yards. You
Right.
want them to do a little bit of everything.
A little bit
Gotcha.
of everything.
A little bit of everything. Okay.
Debo Samuel, I consider him top 5 because he does literally everything. He runs the ball. He's a running back position. He blocks. He gets down and dirty. He can catch long passes. He gets touchdown. Like he does everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So I mean, I consider that I consider him a top 5 receiver.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So top five based off of rushing yards receiving yards last year. Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb, Amon Ross, St. Brown, Puka Nakua, and then AJ Brown of the Eagles. So
But yeah, I
yeah,
forgot
top
AJ
five.
Brown. I should have said AJ. I forgot about AJ.
Well, so that's the interesting thing about AJ though, because he only had 7 receiving touchdowns, but that could be the offense, not necessarily his doing. And he had no rush yards or rushing attempts, so no reverses or anything like that. So yeah, it's definitely up for interpretation. I think when you're looking at trying to bring weapons to CJ Stroud down there in Houston with all the um, you know, good things that happened last year in D'Amico Ryan's first year as coach, head coach, and CJ Stroud's just awesome. Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign. I think you got to give him something. Got to give him a target, and so Stephon Diggs is that target. And we'll see if they can actually do something. So they had in the trade they exchanged Stephon Diggs, and then the Bills will receive a 2025 second round pick via Minnesota, and they'll also send a 2024 sixth rounder. And a 2025 fifth round pick. Wow, they got a lot of picks out
Yeah,
of that.
they.
That's
I mean,
surprising.
he is. I will say this: his value is very. He is a valuable player. Like he can change the game. I will give him that.
Yeah.
So they were compensated very well for that. However, I don't know, dog. I don't know. We'll see how
So
that works.
let's think about this a different way. So let's think about it from the Bills end. How much does this hurt um, the Bills and Josh Allen?
Well, it hurts a lot because Gabe Davis is gone too.
Okay.
So I don't know who Josh is going to throw to because I mean his top two receivers are gone. So they're gonna have to go to the draft. They're gonna have to go to free agency. I'm not. I haven't followed the Bills. I don't know who they picked up, but the chemistry that they had is gone. However, there
Mhm.
have been reports where Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs got into it multiple times. So I
Yep.
don't know how much
Yep.
chemistry. I don't know how much chemistry was there in the first place. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I just think it affects the offense in a way that it was a dysfunctional chemistry that kind of worked until the end of the season. Then you saw what happened once the Bills got to the playoffs, and every time
Yeah.
they had to play the Chiefs would just destroy them. So yeah, we'll see who they get when it comes to the draft, and then afterwards free agency. Who's left? I mean, you got
Hmm.
T Higgins. I believe is well, not T Higgins. Did y'all release T Higgins? I think he's still a Bengal.
I've
Um,
heard reports that we're shopping him around. He's asked for a trade.
yeah, I thought y'all released him. Yeah, I think he's still a Bengal. There are a lot of decently good receivers out there that they can pick up, veterans. So
Or
we'll see how that turns out.
or better yet, I really like when quarterbacks have to prove themselves without a top name wide receiver. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I
So,
feel like Josh Allen hasn't proven himself with a top receiver. So,
well, I
uh,
mean, we always have that the conversation, right? Like, is it the quarterback that makes the wide receiver, or the wide receiver that makes the quarterback? I would argue that Matthew Stafford in Detroit benefited greatly from Calvin Johnson, so
yeah,
for many years. And Peyton Manning made, in my opinion, Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. So,
but
um,
you can also make the argument that Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl without those wide receivers, and also Matthew Stafford won a championship without uh, Calvin Johnson. So, I mean,
but he also won that championship with one of the MVPs, wide receivers of the of the league, right? Didn't what's his face win the MVP that season?
was it Cooper Cup?
Cooper Cup? Yeah.
Probably. But I mean, would you put him on the same level as Calvin Johnson?
No, but I mean he definitely had a season
No, I
that
mean
was
he's a great
crazy.
receiver. He is a great receiver. We were talking about top five. He's definitely in that top five. Uh,
Yeah.
but
When he was good, he was really
yeah,
good.
he's really good. He just can't stay healthy. But
Yeah.
I would argue Calvin Johnson was the pinnacle of pinnacles. I mean, that's why they call him Prime. Wasn't Optimus Prime was what they called him or something like that.
Megatron. They called him
Megatron.
Megatron.
Sorry, the other side. My bad. it was
Yeah,
it was the other
Decepticon.
side. Yeah.
He was Decepticon.
But yeah, he was unstoppable. Literally unstoppable.
Yeah,
So he was um Julio Jones before Julio Jones was Julio Jones. So yeah, I mean, one player can definitely make it, but Matthew Stafford really did make a name for himself by leading the team to a championship. And I don't know how much I have to go back and watch the tape, how much of that was the defense doing what they did. Because I mean, you could make the argument Peyton Manning defense carried them twice. I mean, dominant defenses, they were crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still think without his primary wide receivers, those guys definitely won a championship, and that's something hard to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if I'm the Bills personally, I'm looking at this is Josh Allen's last year or two. I don't know what his contract says, but last year or two to prove himself. And
Mm-hmm.
so you may not bring in a big time wide receiver and just see how he does. Because if he's really that good, he should be able to make his receivers better.
Right, I
Um,
agree.
and so we'll see what happens because I've even seen like Peyton, not Peyton, Tom Brady over the years. Some no name wide receivers end up being big deals, like making catches in the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
you really got to rely on your quarterback, especially when you're paying him so much money
but I
to get
mean,
the job done.
allegedly, when you have deflated balls, you can do whatever you want. So
That
it is
never
what it is.
happened. Allegedly,
Allegedly, man.
allegedly,
That's why I said allegedly.
allegedly.
I'm not about to get sued for saying that was the actual thing. Everything's alleged. So,
Yeah.
you know, this is what we're gonna do is allegedly.
And just to clean that up, Josh Allen has like 6 years, excuse me, 4 more years. Am I reading that right? One, two, three, four, five, 5 more years left on his contract of $258 million. So I would say they should definitely.
Oh, they're not
Obviously,
letting him
you
go
want,
either way. They're not letting him go. He's
yeah.
gonna
I
be
mean, you got to get him some weapons, but I just need to see more. That's my opinion on Josh Allen. I need to see more, and maybe they can build through the draft, which is happening Thursday, April 25th at 8 p.m.
that's 2 weeks from today, right?
It is two
Yeah,
weeks from today.
yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Speaking of the draft, how about we pick our how did you want to do this? You wanted to do the mock drafts first. You wanted to see whose mock drafts you agree with the best, and then we pick we give the folks what they want to hear, our picks.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do just top three teams, and then which pick you think makes the most sense to you. So Chicago, Washington, and New England round out the top three picks of the first round of the NFL draft this year.
Mm.
And there's some big names. There's some big names available. And what do you think they're going to do?
Well, it looks like New York has the third pick in the
Oh,
draft.
did New York get the third pick?
Yeah, I think New York has the third. Yeah, projected trade. Oh no, wait, never mind. It's I read that wrong. It's New England. They're projecting that the New York will trade up, which would be
Okay.
smart of them because they need a quarterback. Um,
Yeah, quarterback. That's what this
all of it's going to be
draft seems to look
quarterback.
like. Yeah.
I think Caleb Williams is a lock for the Chicago Bears because I don't know what possessed them to get rid of Justin Fields. I honestly don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was the most surprising trade I've ever seen in life. And the Steelers got better because they have two premier quarterbacks that have pedigree. So nothing to see here for Chicago. Jaden Daniels for Washington. Um, I think I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know how I feel about Jaden Daniels to begin with. If you let Florida State whoop you in the first game of the season twice, I believe it was because we played them twice in 2 years, and we beat them, I believe, twice. So if you let us do that, I don't know. I don't know about you. Um, they say he has um, Lamar like characteristics with the way he runs the ball. He's a dual threat quarterback, but he's lighter than Lamar. He's a little he's not as big as Lamar, which begs into question. I mean, when it comes with Anthony Richardson and his injury, he didn't make it halfway through the season. So if Jaden Daniels does the same thing, he ain't making it halfway through the first game. So I don't know. We'll see. And the Commanders, they're not known for their offensive line. Um, when I'm looking at New England. They do need a quarterback too, but I don't know who they're gonna get. Drake Mays would be probably the best out of all out of the rest of the quarterbacks that are there. But I don't know how I don't know if they want to roll the dice on that. I don't know, man. That's tough because there are a lot of decent quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy is another one that's a good quarterback up there. Um, and New England is in dire need of rescuing. So
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you who they would pick at quarterback. I mean, you got Bo Nix, another guy out of Oregon that could be a good pick for them. So
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see when the time comes. I mean, they might trade down because I mean this is a quarterback rich draft, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's some really good quarterbacks that will come out of this draft, especially early on. I agree with you there. Caleb Williams to Chicago. To me, that's a no-brainer. Justin Fields, although he played well towards the end of the season last year, I just felt like he didn't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have what they were really looking for. Caleb Williams, in theory, should be the total package. He can throw the ball, he could run it when necessary. Tall quarterback, can stand in the pocket and deliver it accurately. So we'll see. Last time around, Chicago missed out on Patrick Mahomes. So I think this time they're just like whoever the top rated quarterback is, we're
We're just
taking
going
him with the
for it.
number
Yep.
one pick. So
Yep.
that makes sense for me there. And number two on this mock draft I have, they actually have Drake May going to the Commanders, but I actually agree with Jaden Daniels going to the Commanders. I think he would be a better fit for Washington and that team, and usually the type of offense that they usually try to run, especially bringing in who's that? Lincoln? Is it Lincoln Riley
No,
as the offensive coordinator
Cliff
there now?
Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury. I always get them confused.
Yeah, they're about the same. I feel like they run the same. I feel like they run the same offense. I mean, whenever I don't necessarily, I don't think I've necessarily seen a difference in their offense.
Yeah.
So there are slight differences. Everybody has slight differences, but um, for
I
the
just
most
always
part,
feel like they both came from like Oklahoma. Did they both
yeah,
coach at Oklahoma?
I think so. I'm not. I gotta look that
Okay.
up.
No, it's yeah, anyways, yeah, it's just this weird thing that I'm always confused about. Is it am I looking at Lincoln Riley or Cliff Kingsbury?
I know Lincoln Riley
Oh
coached
man.
at knows close at Oklahoma. I know that for a fact, but
Yeah, okay.
Cliff, I'm not sure.
But yeah, so Cliff is there. I think Jaden Daniels gives him more options to kind of be creative and move the pocket around. He likes to spread them out, throw it quickly. So I think Jaden fits better with the Commanders at number two, and then at number three, the New England Patriots selecting Drake May. I think that just matches up. Obviously, you're constantly chasing the ghost of, or maybe the ghost of Tom Brady is chasing you as the quarterback. I don't know which way
Mm-hmm.
it is, but I think Drake May just has the presence. He has the accuracy, and something that I want to say Gerard Mayo. It's not Gerard. Is it Gerard Mayo?
Gerard
Who's the
Mayo,
new
yes,
coach?
yes,
Okay,
Gerard Mayo,
so many coaching moves over the off season. Everything is
yes.
changing. Bill Belichick not being there is kind of throwing me for a loop. But yeah, Gerard Mayo, I think you can see a lot in Drake May and what he did at UNC last year to build on that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I think there's going to be some interesting things happening. Maybe not at the top three spots. I still think the QBs are locked in there. Um, but yeah, just the first round in general, I think is going to be very entertaining this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Yeah,
you want
just
to get to our picks?
just to clean up a little bit. Cliff Kingsbury, did not coach at Oklahoma. He coached at Texas Tech. He was a head coach at Texas Tech. With
Okay.
probably when did Patrick Mahomes come out?
Texas Tech.
Like,
In 2000, was it 1918?
so it
No,
says
no, it was earlier than that. When did he?
well he and I guess they crossed over because Texas he was at Texas Tech from 2013 to 2018. So at that point he would have been there with Patrick Mahomes um as his head coach. So
Yeah,
which is
Patrick Mahomes came out 2017, first round
yeah.
pick,
So
pick
he
number
had
10.
so he had a year or two with him before he declared for the draft, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool. Kind of cool.
yeah, definitely cool. And you definitely know, when you have quarterbacks that are talented and you can put some, talented players on the field, that offense can be really good.
Yes.
So yeah, let's talk about what could potentially happen down a little further the line at picks number 18 and pick number 22.
So this mock draft has your team. If as people don't know, the Bengals pick at number 18. This particular mock draft has you getting Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from LSU.
Hmm.
This is where we do a cutaway to his stuff, but since we don't have that, he he is one of the better wide receivers. Won a championship with LSU in 2019, I believe. I believe he was there. Um, 6'3", 209 pounds. He could play with the likes of Jamar Chase. I mean, y'all just love these LSU cats, man. Um, getting these LSU cats. But yeah, I mean
Tigers.
he's one of the better wide receivers that came out of college football, um, with his speed and his ball skills. So I mean he'll be good to team up with Jamar Chase. That'd be kind of cool. And for the Eagles, this particular mock draft that I'm looking at has us with the Kool-Aid man. Kool-Aid McKenzie, McKinstry. I think that's how you say his last name. From Alabama, cornerback. Uh, I'm not sure I like that pick because I'm not sure he's a I'm not sure he's a ready day one player. I feel like he's a project player.
Mhm.
If it was up to me, I would go with two I would go with two players. Mine would be the next one, Cooper Dijon. I've heard good things about him. He's coming out of Iowa. Go
Mhm.
figure. I mean, he's Iowa's making some news lately. Or I would get Xavier Worthy because of his speed. He can be a great number three receiver. We need speed because we have uh AJ Brown who's strength. I mean, he's all around guy, and then we have Devontae Smith. He's known as the best route runner on the team. He can get separation with his route running, and he's long and lanky. So we just need speed to kind of take the top off, and that's what um I forget her do. We just let him go. Number 16 from Missouri. He was supposed to take the top off the thing. He was fast. He was a 4.3 talent, but Xavier Worthy is a 4.21, which is the fastest 40 time I think ever at the combine because he beat John Ross. So yeah, I would particularly like Xavier Worthy at number 22, but I don't think he'll drop that far.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. And he's a cornerback or a safety.
He's a wide receiver.
Oh, he's a wide receiver.
Yeah,
Interesting. I've
wide
seen a lot
receiver.
of.
wide
Oh, go
receiver out
ahead.
of Texas.
Oh, okay. I've seen a lot of mock drafts saying that the Philadelphia 70, oh my goodness, the Philadelphia Eagles, excuse me, um, need to work on their cornerback and their secondary.
I mean, I would
Um,
agree with that I would agree with that if we knew that Xavier was going to be there. But I mean, I would. There's a lot of good cornerbacks coming out of this draft, but yeah, I mean, how can you pass up 4.21? I don't know how you can pass up that kind of speed. Now that's Tyreek Hill speed. That's game changing speed. Like I
it doesn't
personally would.
matter anymore, man. It doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know. Ask Tyreek. Ask Patrick Mahomes how hard it was to play offense this year. How much harder his job was to get to a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill.
He did it.
He
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 did it. He
did,
made it
but
work.
he
He made
did,
it
but it
work.
was much harder to work with wide receivers that didn't have that neck breaking speed. I mean, his job was so much easier when he had Tyreek Hill to do everything and to run those routes.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I mean, you got to be able to get the ball to him. So talk to Jalen. Let him know he's gonna have to, throw that ball downfield.
Yeah, I mean, he usually is. I just think that it was offensive ineptitude that was on display when I don't even remember our offensive coordinator's name. He's gone now. So I feel like with Kellen Moore coming in, it'll be a different ball game. I feel like you're gonna see a lot more bombs. You're gonna see a lot more down the field uh plays. You're gonna see a lot more designed down the field plays. And most importantly, you're gonna see a lot more runs, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully, and not necessarily QB sneaks.
Right,
Let's hopefully
exactly.
there's actual real runs, and that you got Saquon down there in the backfield. So no, that's cool, man. Hopefully you get who you're looking for. I am okay with what I see here at number 18. Bengals selecting, I'm going to butcher his name, but Olamuya Muiwa Fashanu, offensive tackle out of Penn State. If there's one thing we need to do, it is
Offense.
protect
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to me that's mission critical. That is our number one priority. We got to be able to protect Joe Burrow because he's just been hurt so many times. He takes a lot of hits. Some of it maybe because he holds the ball a little bit, but generally speaking, we can do a better job of creating an offensive line that can really make sure that we negate any pass rush that comes our way because we are going to have at least one, hopefully two, but at least one wide receiver that could really take the top off with Jamar Chase, and then maybe just maybe we trade somewhere, make breaking news, rock the world a little bit, and we get Justin Jefferson from Minnesota to bring yet another Tiger, LSU Tiger, back together with the Cincinnati Bengals. That Tiger connection is going strong. So that's what I'm hoping for. But first things first, I'm the realist. No, first things first, we gotta make sure that Joe Burrow is protected. So if we get an offensive tackle, I'm happy with it. But I am looking for some first round fireworks with potential trade for Justin Jefferson.
So yeah, they're gonna call y'all the Cincinnati Tigers, just like they're calling us even though your logo is literally a
A
tiger.
tiger, yeah,
Uh,
it works. It matches.
the Cincinnati Tigers, like they're gonna call us Philadelphia Bulldogs. Since we just like to draft SEC players. It's ridiculous. Um,
Yep, yep. I mean, you're not alone. The Patriots love to do it. They love those Alabama players in New England.
well, I mean, they're just it's just easier because you don't have to develop as much. Like with yeah, I mean, you would you rather draft somebody from LSU who's ready to play now, has the physique, or would you try to draft somebody from say SMU that might not even make it when it comes to like a major named program?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like SMU, the players from FSU, SMU would be project players more so, and anybody really from the SEC could be plug and play.
That's actually a good note to end this on. Michigan, a Big Ten school, actually won the championship last year, right? And so that was very surprising for
That
a
was
lot of
rigged.
people.
That was rigged. First of all, it's rigged.
I mean, they were one of the best teams all year long, but okay, okay.
Rigged.
Um,
Should have been Florida State. That's what I'm
gotcha. I see.
saying.
Man, that would have been a really good matchup, though. I'm not gonna lie. Florida State versus Michigan would have been an amazing
We would have gotten
championship
kicked.
final.
We would have gotten kicked, but I mean, I feel like
Well, if your
those.
quarterback was healthy,
Yeah, if our quarterback was healthy, we would have had a chance.
yeah, that would have been a good game. But yeah, Michigan, I think we will see how many of their seniors, their juniors that have entered the draft will get picked. We'll see how many non-SEC people that get picked. I feel like SEC is great at defense and offensive line and running. But well, actually, no, wide receivers. There's a lot of wide receivers that come out of the SEC as well.
I feel like it's wide receivers. It's wide receivers, running backs, and defensive backs. I feel like DBU is very big in the SEC. Everything else, I mean, they can produce some defensive linemen too. So, I mean, those boys in the trenches, I don't know where they get them boys, but them boys, them boys got steroids. They've been fed steroids their whole life. I'm talking about the legal ones, like the ones they put in chicken.
Oh yeah,
so
oh yeah.
so them boys been
Cornbread fed,
yeah,
cornbread fed.
them boys, they are sturdy boys, I'll tell you what. So I'm like, dude, y'all need to spread the love and send them to. I feel like there should be a cap when it comes to how many 4 or 5 stars a team can have. Because I mean, Alabama been getting these 4 and 5 stars for many years, and it's just a factory. They just keep getting them. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
why nobody else can make an advance because there's not a limit to how many 4 or 5 stars you can have.
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of NIL. That's the beauty of Nick Saban leaving because now you can't just get recruit them and put them on the bench. They're going to be more talented players wanting to make sure they get their playing time as soon as possible, and they can go to any team now with that transfer
Mm-hmm.
portal and the NIL deals. So it's an exciting time. Everybody's saying that college football is dead, but I think it's alive and well for at least the next 6 years or so. We got that 12-team playoff coming up. Yeah, interesting, exciting times in football, and it's good to see. It's definitely good to see.
Yeah,
One thing I wanted to note: the only thing that the SEC struggles to produce is quality quarterbacks that actually have a long career.
that's true.
Because there's a lot of
That's
good
true.
ones that come out, like Cam Newton and stuff like that, but um, sometimes you think about busts like Jamarcus Russell
Mm-hmm.
from LSU as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, SEC kind of struggles because they used to be so run heavy. They kind of struggle with
Run and
the
defense.
pass.
That's all they do is run and defense. I
Yeah,
remember those times in the BCS era where Alabama and LSU would play and we would get 9-3 games, 9-6 games. I'm like, why am I watching this? This is ridiculous.
because
Like,
that's good
but
old fashioned football.
then I'm not trying to watch Oregon put 70 on the scoreboard either. Like that's just something I'm really interested in as well. So there's a
Yeah,
happy medium. There's a
exactly.
happy
I
medium.
think there's nothing wrong with a 35-point game. Honestly, it's exciting
As
enough to
long
be good.
Yeah, as long as it's 35, 33, or something like that. I mean, let's go back and forth. I want to see
Oh
back
yeah,
and
yeah,
forth
yeah.
football. I don't want to see this 63-3 type game.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
referring to the FSU
likewise,
game.
13-3 is not entertaining enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see somebody score points. You can still play good defense and get points scored on you, so that's fine. I just you like to see a good battle.
Yes.
What's a boxing match that you know, it's that if it's one sided, I don't necessarily want to watch that. I want to see both of the heavyweights throwing haymakers. So yeah, that's what we'll see. That's what we'll see coming up. And now it's time for the front offices of all of these NFL teams to throw some haymakers in this draft and see if they can set themselves up for a successful 2024-2025 campaign. Man, we're getting closer.
Yes, we are.
NFL football is almost back, man.
Yes, we are. And but before that, we're going to continue to watch the USFL. We're going to enjoy it, and then we're going
UFL for life, man.
UFL, not USFL. Why I say that? And then we're going to keep supporting The Rock for making headway on that, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt in his WWE responsibilities either. Yeah,
he was at WrestleMania wrestling for the first time in a long time. So
yeah, so I mean, I feel he's a little old for that, but I mean, hey, you do you, buddy. You do you.
He's an athlete through and through.
Yes, he is. I mean, he works out like one. And then lastly, I want to say rest in peace to OJ Simpson. I know this is a controversial salute, but yeah, it was reported he passed away today from his battle with cancer. And so we just want to say our thoughts and prayers to the family, that they get comfort, and rest in peace to one of the better running backs in the league when he was playing. So yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting sports note on that. Now that he's passed, will they ever reinstate his records? I don't think they will, but we'll see. Interesting thing to look at.
It's doubtful, but
yeah.
Like I said, I'm not looking at his past. I mean, it's very checkered, and obviously it's alleged, because I don't think he was ever. Was he ever convicted? I don't think he was ever convicted.
Only in civil cases and on a separate criminal charge, something about memorabilia. So
yeah, so I mean, you couldn't prove the major elephant in the room, but at the same time, his NFL prowess speaks volumes. So yeah, we just wish the family well.
Yeah, and I have a conspiracy theory about who actually did it, but that's for our conspiracy podcast that we'll be launching. Oh man. Well, as always, follow us for great football content. We are at YDKJ Podcast on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, just about everywhere, on X. So go ahead and give us a follow. Let us know how we're doing. Go ahead and leave a comment wherever you get your podcasts, especially on Apple Podcasts. That will really help the show. Appreciate that. And I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Anything?
Everybody have a good Thursday evening. Don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs. Stay in school.
Weather the storm.
Ride the wave.
Ride the wave.
And
yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah.
I mean, stay safe out there. It's getting a little rough out there nowadays.
And only you can prevent forest fires. It's the summer season. Everybody's going outside to go camping.
All the cliches.
Yes, only you can prevent forest fires. Remember that. Cliches. Smokey the Bear. Shout out.
And also,
my homie Smokey.
And as always, if you see something, say something.
Unless it's none of your business.
No, seriously though. Like I see so many videos on the internet where people are getting beat up, and everybody's just standing around with their phones out. Come on, guys, let's do something about that. Let's break it up. You don't have to get in a fight, but help de-escalate the situation.
Yes,
because lives are precious out here.
Yes, right? When he says lives, he's talking about human lives, not your Instagram live, not your TikTok live.
Yes, all lives.
So, human physical lives, not your live stream.
And not I'm sorry, Peter, but not the animals either. I'm not talking about animals. Although
hey, what you got up against my cat, bro?
Nothing.
What
Nothing
you got
against
against my cat?
nothing. But if it's between the cat and the human, I'm gonna say the human, not the cat.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's fair. That's fair.
sorry. Human lives are better. Just saying. So, yeah, just that's my 2 cents, man. I just had to get off my chest. Say what
I
you
hear you.
said.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, we appreciate you listening. This has been YDKJ Podcast, Outsiders Looking In. My name is Chris Brown.
And I'm Hubert Maitland.
And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.